This is an overview of MyStateMLS, which is a nationwide multiple listing service. Now, it's a nationwide platform, but it's called MyStateMLS because if you think about it, in practice, a national MLS with nationwide coverage is going to be divided on a statewide basis. And the reason is that real estate professionals are licensed on a statewide basis. So just thinking of myself, licensed in California, I would be putting my California listings in. And if I'm looking on behalf of a buyer, I'll be looking for California listings. So I really have no use for an out-of-state MLS. Now, of course, if I was licensed to conduct business in another state, I certainly could have access to that state. And given that this is a national platform, a single national platform, and that I don't have to join another association with a local MLS, there's a benefit. So we'll just go through this quickly. I'm on the homepage. We'll talk about what this is. This is new to me too, so we'll explore it together. And then I'll log in so you can see the dashboard of a user. Now, this is an independent MLS that you can join directly. You don't have to be a member of an association of realtors to join. And it's also built independently as well. So the traditional MLSs that we're used to, and I still use, I'm a member of many MLSs and many associations, they are built on platforms like Matrix or Paragon, which I think are older, and I have my preferences. For example, I like Matrix better than Paragon, but nothing I've used is as user-friendly as this, because I think that this is essentially a tech company, so they have to, or at least they're going to be more aware of the user experience and the interface and simplicity, rather than just kind of working with the same old framework and adding more scaffolding and updating it on a reactive basis. So what I'm saying is that this is very user-friendly, and it's been a pleasant to use so far. And I'll talk about some of the things I like and some of the things where the improvement is needed. So I'm just looking at the homepage here. There's pricing here and a demo, but let's just go right here and log in so you can see what it looks like. Now, if you are interested in joining, I'll put a link in the description of the video that'll take you to a page to join. Let's see here. All right, so here is the user dashboard. All right, so this is basically just some widgets here, a summary page, and you see your listings and company listings, a mortgage calculator, a quick search, CMAs, saved searches, pretty straightforward. Your tools are going to be over here in the sidebar on the left-hand side. You can see your listings. You can do a new listing, and I just did a video where I went into blank listing and I uploaded a listing. This was actually the easiest experience I've ever had uploading a listing. This is a very simple, it's about as easy as it could get in terms of uploading a new listing. Let's jump back to search. Okay, so here is where you can search inventory that is on this MLS. This is where you're going to run into a tricky area, in my opinion, because there's a question of coverage. And let's actually let me see if I can pull up something here. I'll just put for sale as opposed to a rental or something like that. A house, active status in the state of California. We'll do a search. All right, so some listings come up here. Okay, so a bunch of listings. And of course, I can refine it down to the city or whatever. Now, here's the drawback. If you're in a traditional MLS associated with an association of realtors, you're going to see all the listings that have been entered into the MLS, because they effectively operate as a monopoly to a degree. And so all agents, if they're all using one MLS and they're putting their listings there, everyone's at that one party. And so when you log in and you do a search, you're seeing all those listings. If you use a newer MLS like this that doesn't have all of those, or there's not a compulsory type of user experience like there is with associations channeling all listings into one MLS, then there's going to be some listings missing. Luckily, this MLS knows that, and they've done a workaround that compensates for it. because if you have a buyer and you log into this MLS instead of a traditional MLS, then you're going to say, wait, I can't see all the listings. How can I find my buyer, or how can I properly represent my buyer and see all inventory if I can't see all the listings? That's an issue, right? So here's the workaround. Let's jump down to Find. Find is a professional version of Realtor.com. Okay, let me give you a quick backstory on Realtor.com. I actually use Realtor.com all the time. I have the app on my phone. Like it or not, whatever your opinion is on it, it's very functional. And the reason is that in terms of us talking about a nationwide MLS platform, there's so much industry talk about nationwide MLS, and everyone's saying, well, what if? Well, here's the reality of it. The MLSs that we use with the associations of realtors, they're limited in how much they can grow because it's very territorial. And so there's no such thing as them being a nationwide MLS or having national coverage just because of their association with local areas and local associations of realtors. But while the industry talks about all that, on the consumer side, consumers have a nationwide MLS. So they don't care about what agents are thinking, oh gosh, I wish I had a statewide MLS. Because sometimes I take listings, sometimes I have a listing in Northern California, or I travel back and forth, or it would just be so much easier if I didn't have to be a member of 2 different MLSs and 2 different associations. And I speak from experience because we're a member of probably nearly 20. So the consumer experience with Realtor.com is that you can be on your phone and you can look at all homes for sale on a statewide basis, or you can, if I'm looking in Southern California, with a swipe of my finger, I can be over in Arizona and then New Mexico and Texas. And then, I can just move throughout the entire country and see any MLS listing I want at any time. Well, Realtor.com has all the MLS data aggregated together in a single place. So the beautiful part about this workaround, in my opinion, and this is just my own personal thoughts on it, it's a coincidence that this uses Realtor.com, and I use that personally when I'm looking out of state or out of region, or if I'm traveling. And because all of the MLSs, the traditional MLSs, might be fragmented to little regions, they're all giving that data to Realtor.com, which aggregates it for consumers. Now, in this case, this is a professional version for agents. So I can put in, actually, let's do a zip code. Let's do an old zip code that I used to live in. And I'll put it in here and I'll do a search. All right, so we're looking in Irvine. And we can, of course, do, you have all the search criteria. You want to do a price, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, the property type. There's more filters if you want to do kind of an advanced search. Let me jump back here. All right, so we do the search, and then you pull up the listing. Let's just pull up a random listing here. You have all the information that would be in the MLS right here. This is it. This is an MLS listing. And from data imported from the traditional MLS. So you're not sacrificing anything by using this instead of the proprietary search in MyState. Because when what I showed you before in MyState, I'm only showing you other listings that agents entered into MyState. Well, that happens to leave out all the listings that are in the traditional MLSs, which basically have a monopoly. That's where all the listings are. You want access to that. So here you have it. You have all the information. And actually, let me go down here. One thing I noticed, and here's the weird thing, I noticed on some listings it was there and on other listings it wasn't, but I noticed it was missing the cooperating broker compensation, the commission, the buyer's agent commission, to put it in other terms. Well, 2 things. Number one, that's soon going to be public data. We're in a countdown of days before cooperating broker compensation is even available to consumers, and everyone can see what the buyer's agent commission is. But in the meantime, if it's missing, like here, well, this is, speaking as a broker, this is not a big deal, because you can do one of 2 things. You can call the agent, the listing agent, and say, hey, I'm writing an offer. I saw your listing. By the way, what are you offering? 2.5%? Okay. And you can send a cooperating broker compensation form or just document it somewhere in your offer. And that's it. You can just ask the agent what it is. And if you don't ask the agent, then just send a cooperating broker compensation form. That's a California form that just confirms what commission is. I think it should be on every offer, to be honest, in any state. That should be documented. But you could just write in 3% and send it. And maybe they'll counter and say, no, we're only offering 2% on the MLS. Okay, fine, whatever. The point is that you're just saying, hey, I'm assuming it's 3%. And you're assuming high, obviously, for your own benefit. And then they can write back, no, it's 2.5%. The point I'm making is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it doesn't show you the cooperating broker compensation. Just ask for 3% and let them tell you, no, we're only giving you 2.5%. But everything else is here. Let me jump back. And this is statewide. This might actually be national, the search on here. But basically, you're not missing anything. Every single listing, what's funny, in a way, you're actually getting more because not only are you getting every listing aggregated from every MLS, but you're also getting the proprietary search from MyState, which is this. And I mean, so there's going to be limited inventory on here, like I said. But when you use Find, which is the professional grade version, you see Realtor.com professional search. That again pulls all the data from the traditional MLSs that have the bulk of inventory. All right, so now that we've gone through that, digital docs. This is a tool that I will not use because I don't need it. I have forms through my associations. There are ORP forms at oorp.org, so that's not needed for me. Let's see, listing forms. I think they just throw some proprietary stuff on here just in case you need it if you're in a pinch. Let's see, like listing agreement, stuff like that. I mean, a COVID-19 addendum. I mean, just some basic stuff in here. Hey, this is helpful. But again, I have access to professional. I mean, these are very rudimentary forms. They're better than nothing, but they're very rudimentary. So I would just use the forms I typically use as a member of an association of realtors, or I'd use forms.oorp.org, ORP forms. Both of those are professional grade. And let me jump back here. I think that's it. I'll just sum up the tour here. My account, it's probably just a bunch of personal stuff. And then yeah, you can see your listings. So this user interface is very simple. Like I said, entering a listing in that other video you can find on this channel. It is very informative in terms of what it looks like if you want to see that video. But in summary, it's a very user-friendly interface and very easy to add a listing. So that is very briefly a overview of what the nationwide multiple listing service known as MyStateMLS looks like. If you have questions, please leave a comment and I'll be happy to answer. Thanks for watching.